Based on every scientific and rational consideration, DNA, functional amino acid chains, and proteins prove that a surpassing intelligence designed the information processing systems in the cell. It can also be demonstrated that DNA and proteins were created simultaneously when we consider the following. We discussed how the arrangement of the bases in DNA constitutes the code for the arrangement of amino acids in a chain, which arrangement is necessary to form a protein. That means that for a protein to form, you must have DNA. Alright, but for DNA to be copied and transcribed, which is part of the process of forming a protein, you must have proteins. Think about that. It means that if you had DNA without proteins, you could never get to proteins, or life, because DNA requires proteins to become proteins. And you could never start with proteins, that is, have proteins without DNA, because proteins only come from a specific arrangement of the bases in DNA. This proved they were created simultaneously. An excellent example of this point is RNA polymerase, one of the protein enzymes involved in DNA transcription. RNA polymerase is, as I mentioned, what makes an mRNA version of one of the DNA strands. This must be done for DNA to form a protein. So DNA does not become a protein without the protein, RNA polymerase. But RNA polymerase is only formed from the prior specific arrangement of the bases in DNA. There is an irreducible complexity. They must have been created at the same time. It's also interesting that the hydrogen bonds which link the base pairs in DNA are not strong individually, but when they are linked up in the double helix, they provide great stability. They are sort of like a zipper. One link is not especially strong, but when zipped up the chain becomes stable. This marvelous design gives DNA both the flexibility to unwind in replication and the strength to stay together. It bears the marks of a brilliant creation. Indeed, when forming DNA and its billions of bases, the one who arranged it knew that the precise order of bases laid down would determine the precise order of complementary bases on mRNA. He also knew that these complementary bases on mRNA would in turn signal the precise 3-base codes or codons, each of which would match up with a complementary 3-base anticodon on tRNA. He knew that when each of these codons matched up with a precise amino acid, that the amino acids must be picked in the right order out of an astronomically large number of other possible orders if life was to exist and function. In other words, when he laid down the bases in DNA, he knew that following the processes of DNA transcription and translation, the final sequence of amino acids expressed and signaled by those bases was exactly the sequence he was looking for. And all of this is determined, formed, and executed on a scale so small that no unaided human eye can see it, and no human hand can approach the unimaginable dexterity with which it has been arranged. In charting the genetic code, it has been proven that specific 3-base sequences, or codons, represent actual commands to start and stop amino acid chains. For example, when the bases AUG line up on the mRNA transcript, it represents a start codon. It starts the chain of amino acids, just like you would start a message with dear or a computer program with run. The ribosome will continue to add the amino acids coded on the mRNA transcript until it reaches a stop codon. Stop codons are represented by 3-base codes that literally signal the end of an amino acid chain, just like you would end a message with the word sincerely or a computer program with the command end. Examples of these stop codons are UGA and TAG. The whole process is akin to a supercomputer program, with start and stop commands programmed at the appropriate places. However, DNA is a computer program and language that operates on a level of sophistication and design that far exceeds anything human beings have ever produced. As we saw, proteins cannot exist without the information in DNA, and DNA cannot become proteins without proteins. And proteins are useless without the other proteins, molecular machines, and factories which work in unison in the cell. Proteins thus could not have been formed by successive slight modifications, and DNA could not have become proteins without already functional proteins. All of it had to be and was created simultaneously. DNA contains specified information, a code, machines, and processes on a scale of nanotechnology that the most capable designers in the world could only dream about achieving. Scientific experience teaches that such information, codes, messages, computer languages, only comes from an intelligent designer. DNA and the cell are proof of a supremely intelligent creator. God created DNA and all of the extraordinary processes that go with it in the cell, and he did so all at once.